Tom Sellers, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Bob Molinati. How are you, my friend?
Hanging in there, man. Yesterday was a big day in our community. It was Boston Day. It was a little odd having it in the fall, but boy, we had some good times at Boston, and I know
Oh, yeah.
if nothing else, that race was really important to you.
Extremely important. Probably the only race that I felt if I didn't win, my career wasn't complete. So when I got hit by that car in 1996, it really took a huge chunk of my life away from me because I never got the chance to really go back and compete at a competitive level again.
Tom, those are pretty difficult words to say. People wouldn't really understand exactly why something could be so important to an individual, but as an athlete, I think we all do. And you have some pretty substantial credentials as an athlete. You were a two-time Paralympian in Barcelona. You picked up a gold medal in the 4x4. But like we said, Boston was always a pretty big deal. And in 1994, you went head to head with Heinz Fry, one of the best, and
Yep.
you had a real shot. But yesterday we saw Marcel Hug from Switzerland go off course and lose a huge bonus by only 8 seconds. And you did the same thing in 1994. And people are having a really difficult time understanding exactly how that would happen. How did it happen?
It's extremely easy to understand when you're running the race, when you're on the course itself. That stretch of road, as you're coming down to hang a right to go up to Boylston, I think there's about 5 turns on the entire course. So you're coming down that street and I was going about 22, 23 miles an hour, and I was chanting, "Go USA, go USA." And I got to the point where I knew there was a turn coming up, but I couldn't see because of the thousands of people along the side of the road. And they'd opened the gate for the ESPN motorcycle to my left. So I never saw the street opening. And I started saying, "Is this my turn? Is this my turn?" And no one would answer me. And then I got to where I saw for sure it was the turn. And I remember being upset because at that point I knew now not only I had no chance at all to catch Heinz, but I'm also going to lose a lot of time. So we flew past the road, completely stopped. I slightly admonished the police officer that was there. I said, "Man, why didn't you tell me that was a turn?" Completely stopped, turned around, went up, started the ascent up that street because unfortunately that is an uphill climb. So we climbed up the hill. I climbed up the hill, got to Boylston, made the left onto Boylston, and kind of not dejected, but second place in the Boston Marathon. Very, very huge honor. Wish it was first. Still got a 122.50 something. But I certainly believe that takes away a lot more than 8 seconds. If you had to ask me, it's a minute or more because you're not stopping, turning around, going down a hill. You're turning around, going back to the street, making the left, and climbing up the hill. So significant time loss for Marcel, myself, and Krieg.
Well, not only are you losing that time, you're losing a substantial amount of momentum at a very late stage in the race. You've just gone more or less 26 miles.
Yes.
You just got to complete Boylston, and now you have to come to a complete stop, and you've got to get the motor running again. That's difficult.
It was hard, and like I said, when you're talking about that time. I mean, I didn't know at that time we had a 7-minute gap on the field. I did not know that. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know that Heinz was behind me until he passed me about halfway. So you're not only worried about, oh no, my time, I'm not going to be able to catch Heinz, but who's behind me? Am I going to get caught? Am I going to get passed? Because like you said, you're a little out of gas at that point. I'd been out of water since about the halfway mark. And so I was dehydrated. But second and third at Boston, I got wonderful trophies in my house, wonderful payday. Back in our day, Bob, that was a great payday. I know Marcel lost 50 grand yesterday. I lost $9,000. I did petition the BAA And the Boston Athletic Association told me, hey, ultimately, Tom, whose responsibility is it to know the course? And they were right. It's mine. I'm the runner. I knew the course. I was just going too fast. And when I did see the road, if I'd have tried to make that turn, that would have been a catastrophe because it would have wrecked.
Yeah, ironically, Marcel alluded to the same thing, and must have been a very hard thing for him, just a day after it being done. But he sort of more or less indicated the same thing. It was his responsibility. But yeah, there was a whole lot of chatter on social media yesterday. Oh my God, there's only 3 turns on the course. Oh geez, how come people can't follow the blue line in the road? But I don't think people really completely understand just how difficult things can be when your heart is beating at 165 beats a minute and you've been going for an hour and a half.
That's right. And I'll tell you this, Bob. Back when we raced, unfortunately, we had that control start coming off the starting line. So that slowed us down. Then my accidentally missing the turn. But when you average it out over the 26 miles and 365 yards, you wind up averaging just slightly under 20 miles an hour for the entire race. So when you're coming down that slight decline on that road, you're not just going 20 miles an hour. You're going a substantial, it's a high speed. And if you don't know that turn's coming up, all they have to do is put a marshal right there where that gate would be, where the motorcycle is going to go past. And when I saw that happen, I mean, I knew exactly how it happened. You just can't see. There's so many spectators at Boston. I guess that's what people don't understand. There is a wall of people on that sidewalk cheering you on as you come, especially if you're one of the top 3 athletes. You're getting cheers, and it's loud. I mean, I don't even know if anybody heard me saying, is this my turn? Is this my turn? Go back and look at the tape. I don't know if anybody heard me. I hope they didn't. But it ultimately, once again, it doesn't matter. It's the athlete's responsibility to know where he is, where his turns are. I mean, we've gotten lost on other races too, Bud. In Columbus, we got lost for, I don't know how many miles. I think we wound up running about 40 miles that day. But it happens. It happens, unfortunately.
It does happen, Tom, and it's unfortunate that it happened not only to Marcel yesterday, to you in 1994, but it also happened to Krieg Shabor, and we're going to catch up with him in just a couple minutes to find out exactly, what the experience was like for him. But I got to tell you, man, it was rough to watch. You know what it's like to be there in real life, and people just watching have no real notion of exactly what the experience is like. But I think you summed it up pretty well, man. And you look at it this way. Here we are, all these years later. I mean, for you, that was basically 30 years ago, and which is pretty hard to believe all on its own. So,
hey, listen, I want to say, while I have a moment, I want to say, hey, congratulations to Marcel. Don't be disappointed. You won the Boston Marathon again. I mean, it's the most prestigious marathon to win. So congratulations to him, and all the best in the future. Well, hey, man, you've had a storied career all on your own. Here it is so many years later, and you still own the 12th fastest time in the history of wheelchair racing in the marathon of 1:22:52. So I don't think you have much to be disappointed about. You got a gold medal on your mantle, and life is good. Life is always good, man, and cherish it every day. Take care, Bob. Thanks, Tommy. So good catching up with you, buddy. You too. Take care, guys.